celebrating the power of possibility.
I'm Todd Kelly Jr., and I believe anything is possible.
Welcome to Anything is Possible. I'm Halloran Hilton Hill, and these are great stories about great people whose lives prove that anything is possible. And it is my privilege to welcome to the broadcast, I guess I would have to call you nephew.
That's right. That's right.
A great young man in this community, Todd Kelly Jr. Thank you for being here.
It's an honor and a privilege. Anytime that I can attach my name to yours, Halloran, it's a blessing.
Your dad sat in that chair. He ran from me. Oh man, did your dad run from me, man. And then we became fast friends, great friends. And I remember just watching you kind of grow up. Let's go back to the beginning. Talk a little bit about growing up in this community with these parents.
Yeah, well, when you're young and growing up, my wife Mackenzie and I have two of our own, and just watching my little man 10 and our daughter Micaiah, and just the innocence, right, and the trust that they have in us as parents, and them hitting that rewind button and going back to when I was a youngin', and just watching my dad do everything, watching my mom trying to emulate certain things of her lifestyle. And I looked around and realized how blessed I was, and how high of an example, right, they were to me as a young man, and growing up with an older sister as well, who didn't really take it lightly on me in any regard. But just us four, the older I got, the closer we got. And the more I learned how much of an impact, both my mom and dad had on the community. And having my dad's name, right, I'm a junior, so putting a lot of high expectations on myself to continue to raise the bar when it came to that Kelly last name. Your
father played in the NFL, Super Bowl winner, and had a storied career, and you started playing football at what age? 7
years old.
Did you want to?
So I did. It's funny. I had a astigmatism as a young kid, and had some vision issues, and my pop, I called him, my dad's father, which is funny because my dad's name is Pop now for his two grandkids. He threw me a ball and I didn't catch it.
Because you couldn't see it.
Because I couldn't see it, but nobody knew, and of course they thought, oh man, you letting
down the family name.
Yeah. This might not be the next generation of an athlete, but they put some glasses on me, and my first football game, I looked like Eric Dickerson. I had the glasses on inside the helmet, and first time I touched the ball, took it for 80 yards down the sideline. My dad was coaching me, and I loved the game. I loved sports of all kinds, basketball, football, baseball, track, you name it. I just loved to go out there and compete. And it was really cool because my dad was a part of that. He got to coach me, and he really saw me and him, right, when I was out there. So it was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed it. And
you attended the Webb School?
I did, yeah. So, we talk about my dad and his athletic career, but my mom on the other side, big time academia.
Big time.
Principal for multiple years in education for over 20 years. So for me, I felt like I had to be the epitome of a student athlete. So scoring 4 touchdowns, getting A's on my papers, that was the expectation, at least that I put on myself. Little did I know, my parents just wanted me to be happy and enjoy the moment. So looking back, and having all of that experience, I always told myself if I could be half of what my parents were for me, for my kids, that it would be exceptional. And that's a testament to them, their sacrifice, their love, their caring spirit, their faith.
So you graduate from Webb and you go to the University of Tennessee. Was that the only school that was recruiting you? And what was your high school football career like?
So my high school career went very well. Started as a freshman, won Mr. Football twice, Gatorade State Player of the Year for the state of Tennessee. So everything was aligned, top 100 player, All-American. And so for me, I set all these goals for myself, right?
Which were you wanted to play in the league?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I wanted to fill my father's footsteps. So that's how I saw it. Hey, he got to this particular area, this, the highest level there is. And oh, by the way, he was first round, Super Bowl. So not only did he get there, he excelled. So for me, high school was the kind of that first threshold. And then I wanted to play in college. And my first scholarship offer actually came from Auburn University. And the next day, University of Tennessee was calling me pretty quickly after that. So ended up, working really hard, had over 50 scholarship offers to attend basically any school that I wanted to. And at that time, my sister was a cheerleader in college at for a Crimson team down south, and they had offered me a scholarship, and they were winning a lot more ball games than the University of Tennessee was at that time. But really, So
you had an offer from Alabama as well, and this is peak Alabama.
Correct.
This is Nick Saban Alabama.
Yep, Nick Saban. We were sitting down similar to a situation like this, him and I, and he cracked a joke. I really didn't want to laugh because he's Nick Saban, and but I knew at that moment that I was there for the right reason and that I had worked extremely hard, and I think I was young to where I felt like I deserved it, right? But you learn in life we don't deserve anything.
Right.
And so I'd gotten all the things that I had worked for, all the opportunity, and really prayed about it and ended up staying here in Knoxville. I wanted to fulfill the legacy. I was part of a legacy class where, I was one of the first commits and decided to recruit everybody in the state of Tennessee and get everybody back on the train here in Knoxville.
Possibility powered by Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel.
Now you can listen while you're on the go with Anything is Possible, the podcast.
So you get to the University of Tennessee. You were balling too, man.
Yeah.
You realized you were balling, right?
A little bit. A little bit.
I mean, you were balling.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about Todd Kelly Jr. It was a thing. It was a whole thing. The league was talking about you.
Yeah.
They were really talking. They were like, this dude is going to be, as they say, one of them ones.
Absolutely.
You were a dog on the field, and then you were crushing in school. Academically.
Mm-hmm.
What was your major at the University of Tennessee?
Biochemistry and cellular and molecular biology.
You got to be out of your mind.
BCMB for short.
So you got like a really high GPA in this really difficult field, and you're crushing it.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
So crushing it freshman year, sophomore year on all these projected draft boards for my junior year to declare after my third year, and had a very significant.
Where did they have you projected?
So going into my junior year, I was supposed to go early that second day, so around third, fourth round, and that was before I had a killer year. Little did people know I was playing with a knee injury that I had sustained going into my junior year during training camp, and still ended up leading the team in interceptions and tackles my junior year. But
I mean, you were killing it.
Yeah, but was getting cortisone shots every other week, getting my knee drained before every game, having to take Toradol for the pain, and was still probably playing at 80 to 85%. So more than anything, it was less the physical, more the mental, especially on a 21-year-old young man who has all these goals, dreams. For myself, I had my plan in my mind, and it was just a tough time, a low moment where, I dealt with a lot of mental thoughts of I wasn't enough, was never going to amount to where I thought I needed to go, was never going to impress the people that were talking about me because of my athletic ability, and it's a very, very low moment for me at a very critical time.
When did you realize I'm not going to be able to play anymore?
That's a great question. So I ended up going down, getting a second opinion on my knee, and we found out it was really bad. The physicians were surprised that I was even playing in addition to the cortisone, and especially on the SEC level, tackling the Derrick Henrys of the world, cutting, planning, and they told me how bad it was, and that for the procedure I was getting, it takes 18 months to recover. Everybody knows there's 12 months in a year, let alone a football year. You've got to get back to train, get back out there. But I never had a doubt in my mind. I knew I was going to work as hard as I could to get back. And a lot of people ask me, hey, what's your favorite season? It wasn't my freshman all-SEC year. It wasn't when I led the team in tackles or interceptions. Ultimately, it was just getting back on that field. Even though I wasn't, 100% healthy, I told myself, hey, this is what happened. What are you going to do about it?
So you get back on the field, but then the field of dreams as it relates to the NFL, that window changes or closes. Do you think you still could have made the NFL, or did you just have such a shift in your mentality that you decided not to pursue that?
Yeah, so my mentality totally shifted. It shifted gears. My dad, who had a great career, could have been better, right? He went from a first-round Super Bowl winner to getting injured as well. And NFL stands for not for long. So it's not if but when you're going to have to pursue another career. And for me, I shifted gears from, hey, what are you going to take from the game of football to implement that in your daily life, not knowing a clue what was next. And that was hard. And after I got done with football, I decided to medically retire, and actually still had some teams reach out to me. And that was the hardest part, right? Because mentally I wanted to be there, physically I couldn't. And so that was a possibility that was on the table, but little did I know what the Lord had planned for me next. So
that had to rock your world. That had to bring you to your knees.
It does, and a lot of people talk about rock bottom, hitting that rock bottom level. But going from, my career was skyrocketing, right?
Yeah,
Everything that I wanted to accomplish, I was accomplishing.
Right.
To basically hitting that reset button. Basically saying, hey, this was your trajectory. Now it's a total pivot, total shift. And oh, by the way, I was a young adult, at 21 years old, 22 years old. I'm sure a lot of people can think when they were that age, just the things that they thought, the things that they dealt with. And so talk about bringing me to my knees. You go from standing almost on this pedestal, right, in your city where you grew up, accomplishing all the things that your dad accomplished ahead of you, almost to prove your self-worth, to basically nothing when it comes to football.
You ever want to give up? You ever want to throw in a towel?
Man, that's some things that as a young man I had to think about, right? Because I was allowing my value to be determined by something I did. And I perceived, I defined myself as the game I played. And my self-worth, my value was tied to something that was going to end anyways at some point. But for it to end so drastically, not according to what I wanted, it was very frustrating.
So your degree is in molecular biology and biomechanical engineering, and you work for Merrill Lynch. So let me...
Yeah.
So how'd you choose your future, your career path? You get through the hard stuff. God gets you through the hard stuff.
Absolutely.
You have a great spiritual revelation and evolution to bring you to where you are now.
Yeah, so working for Merrill Lynch, on the team I'm on, it's something that found me for sure. I told myself, hey, football's not it. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but whatever it is, I'm going to give my all. And I'm going to prepare as if I'm playing the Alabamas, Floridas, Georgias of the world, right? And getting out of college, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Tried this, tried that, and ultimately how I got into the financial industry, there was someone that is really well in the business, met him at a networking event, Top Golf in Neyland Stadium.
Oh my.
And I love tackling people in Neyland, but there was nothing like hitting a golf ball off the upper deck. And he kind of asked me what I was doing, what I was thinking, what was next, and I told him my background. And little did I know he had a military background and ended up in the space. And he looked me in the eyes and he said, Todd, you're motivated, you're driven, you have the right morals and values, you trust in what you do, and people are going to see that. And I think you can be successful in this business if you take it and apply it like you did the game. And the funny thing is, my wife now, girlfriend then, a week prior, we were just talking about, I don't know what's next, but if it makes sense, I'm gonna take that leap of faith. And that door was open for me. And I haven't looked back since.
Now, take us with you with Anything is Possible, the podcast. Stream new episodes weekly wherever you get your podcasts.
You're a dad now.
Yeah, I am.
You got two.
I love my family so much. I think that I always had a void in my heart that I didn't know why. And my wife and kids have filled that for me. Specifically just being a husband and a father and setting the example, right? I had two great parents, which we mentioned before. I've still got them. They love being Pop, and Lovey is what they go by. But for me, really getting to set the narrative and set the example and not just talk about it, but be about it. And all the things that the Lord allowed me to go through as a young man, as a teenager, to now having a family of my own. And so it's an honor, it's a privilege. I don't take it lightly, but boy, they're a lot of fun. And no matter where the market is, I walk through that door, and no matter what kind of day I had, whether it was plenty of phone calls or whatever the day took upon, that's what makes life truly life.
First of all, I want to say that I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of the young man that you are becoming and that you're stepping into, because I like to say that pain creates pivots and pivots create new possibilities. What have you learned about enduring painful pivots in life to make it to new possibilities? What have you learned? What has God taught you?
With pain comes discipline, right? And you think physically you can see scars, and every scar has a story. But that scar isn't the wound it used to be, right? It's healed, but it's still there. And it's there, one, to remind you that you got through, and two, to share it with somebody else that may be, going on or have that wound presently, and that it's not lasting. Because no discipline seems pleasant at the time. It's painful. Later on, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. When you're trained by that discipline, you're able to look back and say, I made it through, right? With a smile on your face.
What are you speaking into the lives of your peer group and young men coming behind you that are looking to you to learn about the recipe for possibility? And are you? I would imagine you are.
Yeah, I am. And specifically because, a lot of people around my age may not be married quite yet, may not have kids. And so for me to start that journey, there's no looking back. And I'm thankful for that. But to know that I don't have to have everything figured out, right? I can have that plan. That plan's gonna pivot, right? And to see life as a GPS. You may have a particular direction you're going, but guess what? There's detours.
Rerouting.
There's rerouting, right? And where your value is, where your heart is, that's what you're gonna listen to. And so when you allow Christ to lead your life, it takes all the stress away, takes all the pressure away. Growing up, all the pressure came from me, all the self-induced things I felt like I needed to do to impress who?
Right.
Right? And so now, seeing the innocence of my son 10, named after Tennessee, my daughter Micaiah, that's how the Lord sees me, right? His child. And all I have to do is trust.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things in terms of a recipe for possibility. You have to have faith. You have to trust that the God is going to get you through. He's going to bring you through. It's tough for men, especially going through painful pivots, because we have such a tendency to define ourselves by what we do. And if what we do is something that is ranked,
Yeah.
then it really exacerbates that whole idea, because when you are defined by what you do, you never get to know who you are. But when you get to know who you are, then you could bring that person to whatever you do.
That's right.
And young men like yourself that are taking that journey, I thank God that you have the courage to embrace it.
Thank you. Yeah, and you have to, right, at some point, or it's never ending. Because we talked about it. I mean, I went to my parents several years ago and looked at the trophies and the awards and the accolades, and in the moment, I wasn't grateful, right? I didn't have gratitude because I wasn't content. I wanted more. And in this life, it's so easy to get caught in that rat race, right? For more. And then you look up, right? And whether you wanted to accomplish what you did or not, being truly content, being present, enjoying the times that we're blessed with people like you. I mean, that's what it's about.
Well, I'm telling you, he can form tackle you right now, lay you all the way out. He's ready to play today. He's ready to go. He can do some molecular biology on you. He can put your finances together and do it with a smile. I truly believe that with this young man, anything is possible. Todd Kelly Jr., thanks for being on the broadcast.
I enjoyed it. Thanks so much for having me.